The story unfolds in what looks so much like a dark and abandoned city. A young man walks through the shadow and moves to open a door. Shortly after, the young man, Denji, wakes up from his sleep in a scattered and rough-looking room. While taking a walk on the road through the forest, he recollects just how much the service in the city costs. Apparently, he owed a lot of debt and had to sell his kidney and his right eye, coupled with other jobs in order to get money to pay it off. However, his efforts are not enough, as it seems like his debt only keeps increasing, since he still owes over 38 million yen in debt. Still on the subject, his devil dog Pochita barks, and he remembers that they have come to kill a devil. He's here since a dead devil will make his debt 300,000 yen less. Meanwhile, his dog isn't just a devil, but possesses the ability to be used as a chainsaw. This he uses to hack down devils. Devils like the tomato devil, which he has come to kill, and successfully does, without much stress. After killing the devil, he gets commended by the man who had given him the job, and as a tip for a job well done, he's offered an extra 100,000 yen. This makes him excited. Unfortunately, his excitement is cut short by the debt he has. Deducting his pending debt, he's left with just 70,000 yen. Even though that might seem fair enough, he would still need to pay some more other basic bills, which would leave him with just 1,800 yen left. He laments this to Pochita, who decides that they will have to eat just a slice of bread for dinner. Still pondering, he walks past a car with two men in it. The two men happen to know Denji, and the driver wonders why he should be given the job of killing devils. The other man, however, thinks it will be a great fit for Denji, since he already does so, and would be able to clear off his debt while working for them. Apparently, his father had built up a large amount of debt just before he died, leaving Denji with the unwanted responsibility of clearing it. To find out just how desperate for money Denji is, the driver offers him 100 yen to eat a cigarette, an offer which the desperate Denji grabs without much of a thought. This causes the man to laugh as he throws the cash up in the air and eventually drives off. Later that night, Denji and Pochita feed on a slice of bread, like he had said. At that point, he ponders on his regrets and wishes he would have a girlfriend before he dies. Just then, he remembered just how miserable he had felt when his father died, and how he had been informed of just how much his father had owed, leaving him with the responsibility of paying it off. At that time, he also met Pochita, who happened to be a wounded devil. To save Pochita, he allowed it to suck his blood, since drinking human blood is known to heal devils. Back to the present, Denji continues to recollect on what he hoped to do if things were better. Shortly after, he coughs, and blood fills his hand. He was, however, not surprised by this, since his mother had a chronic disease that had caused her to do the same. Just then, he's informed that he has a job. To execute the job, he is taken to an abandoned factory where he has come ready to kill a devil. Unfortunately, the man who had brought him there happened to be the same man he had been working for a while now to pay off his father's debt. The man complains about just how much he can't stand Denji's stench, since he likens him to a dog. In the blink of an eye, Denji realizes that he has been stabbed from behind. Unknown to him, the man had aligned with the devil, and had gained demonic powers themselves. Since they had become devils, they had decided to kill him. With a strong will to save his life, Denji picks up Pochita, who had also been stabbed earlier. He runs towards a door, hoping to reach it just in time to escape those devils that are after his life. Just as he gets close to the door, one of the devils catches up with him and slashes his back, forcing him to fall to the ground. This allows the other devils an opportunity to catch up with him, and they all continuously stab him. After killing him, the devils put him in a dump together with Pochita. In the dump, drops of Denji's blood get into Pochita's mouth, giving it the healing power that devils have been rumored to have upon taking human blood. When Pochita gains consciousness, he remembers a wish which Denji had made earlier. Apparently, Denji had begged Pochita to take over his body in the event of his death. This prompts Pochita to merge up the torn parts of Denji's body and take over it, eventually bringing him back to life. When he wakes up, he doesn't find Pochita beside him, but he finds that Pochita's tail is protruded directly in front of his heart. This makes him realize that his loyal pet had taken over his body like he had wished for it to. Now hungry for revenge, he bursts out of the dump ready to fight off the devils. At first the devils cover him up, making it seem like he had been eaten. But shortly after, he sprouts up from them, revealing himself now with the chainsaw abilities that Pochita had earlier possessed. With this ability, he slashes past the devils, aiming mainly at the main devil. Getting his chance, he slices the main devil in half and makes sure to kill the other ruthlessly. After the massacre, a lady walks in with the two men. They see the massacre and Denji standing in the dark. At first they are skeptical about what he really is. Just then the lady walks up to him and hugs him at his request. This causes him to change back into his human form. Shockingly, the lady offers two choices: to be killed as a devil or to join them as a human, with the chance to be fed. Taking up the latter, he finds the fact that he would get to eat all that he wants to be awesome. Did you enjoy this video? If you did, kindly like it and subscribe to our channel so we can bring you the latest recaps of the next episodes. Until next time, do take care and stay safe. Episode 1 starts off with the story of a once confined Quincy King, who now has regained his pulse after almost 900 years, control over his mind after 90 years, and finally his strength after 9 years. The scene ends with a man smiling into the darkness. Warning signs ring in the background, with everyone panicking except for two men who make their way into the Soul Society by an elevator. The leader asks his subordinate what the Sutra scale is at, and is told it has reached a critical category level 4. He is disappointed for not being alerted sooner. It seems that hollows are disappearing at an immense speed, and this has alarmed everyone in the Soul Society. The leader, who is the third seat Akon, looks at the screen which displays the location of the hollows disappearing, and says that this is the doing of one person only. We are now transferred to Karakura town, and see two people named Shino and Ryonosuke walk out of a portal. They are instructed by their supervisor to kill off the hollows and keep the town safe before the portal closes. Ryonosuke is more scared than he could imagine. Being in a new town, the threat level of the situation, and if he could live up to everyone's expectations. This pisses Shino off, and she, with her bold tomboyish way, encourages him to get a grip of himself by yanking his shirt. To make matters worse for poor Ryonosuke, Shino suggests that they split. She will cover the north side while he covers the south side and leaves. Ryonosuke sits on top of a bridge in the calm dark night. Everything seems very peaceful until he hears a crank behind him. Scared to his wits, he turns around and is met with the demonic stare of a spider-like hollow. Screaming at the top of his lungs, Ryonosuke runs for his life and tries his best to call Shino, but she doesn't answer his calls. The hollow chases him left and right like a dog in a cat chase. Ryonosuke rushes inside a building and reaches the roof, only to find Shino's unconscious body dangling in the palm of two monstrous hollows. Fate had other plans for these two. Mustering up some courage to fight, Ryonosuke tries to save Shino, but is caught by a surprise from behind by the hollow looking like a spider. Drowning in his own blood, his last words are a prayer to not die and to be given another chance. The hollow towers over him, ready to put him out of his misery, but before that could happen, the hollow is killed. Luck was on Ryonosuke's side as a backup came to save him from the Grim Reaper's hold. A beautiful female named Orihime provided him and Shino first aid so they could live. And now it is showtime. Our main protagonist has arrived with his group of fearless fighters. Standing like a pure boss with his faithful sword Bankai on his shoulder, Go gives orders to finish this fast. Orihime brings out a protective shield and pushes the hollow away, followed by Yasutura, the man with the iron fist who punches the living daylights out of another hollow. Yoro Ishida is not one to shy away with his arrows and pinpoint accuracy that pierces the heart of every hollow he sets his eyes on. And finally, blocking one hollow's attack with his blade, he with one word, Bankai, eradicates the very existence of 1,000 hollows. Electrifying power takes up the sky and every hollow trembles under his extreme power that shows no mercy. Ryonosuke, amazed by this spectacle, asks him who he is, to which calls himself the substitute Soul Reaper. Ryonosuke wakes up to find himself in his room. Seconds later, Orihime enters with a tray of bread and offers it to everyone except who pisses her off by saying it was stale. Ryonosuke is a bit taken aback by everything and is told by to get back into his kigai. Shino also enters the room and embraces Ryonosuke. With a heartfelt punch, yes, that is her way of showing love. Nonetheless, their friendly environment is interrupted by a man in a hollow mask who keeps taunting him. Sick of his behavior, kicks him off his bed and follows him outside. Asking him if he is an Arankar, the man loses his nerves and shows a small bracelet before summoning a Quincy. This gets attention. At the Rukon district, Squad 11 5th Seed are searching the whole area for people, but it seems everyone has disappeared into thin air, except for one small area where it can be seen that there was once small footprints. We are now transferred to Squad 1 barracks, in the head captain Shigekuni Genryusai's office. A group of white-clothed men enter and show their power by badly wounding his friend Sasakibe. They proceed to warn the captain that in 5 days Soul Society would be annihilated by Wandenreach, before disappearing into the shadows. Back to it, who dodges every attack by the masked man. Having enough of his antics, Go summons his Bankai, which unusually gets the man excited. A cynical smile on his face, he with a laugh says that sword is now destroyed, but instead gets destroyed by himself by the overwhelming powers of the sword. Go tries to take him for questioning, but instead, just like the others, he too vanishes into darkness. In another dimension, the group who plundered the head captain's office arrives in a room. Reborn is already there, bowing in front, but gets mocked by the leader of the group. To this, the Quincy King cuts the group leader's arm off because he hates arguments. The king looks at all of them and asks to hear a report for their cause of peace. A new term begins at the Demon School, and Suzuki Iruma-kun and his friends arrive at school just in time. However, Iruma-kun hopes he won't draw any attention to himself this term, seeing as he is a human in a demon school. He hopes to be so low-key that nobody notices him. Unfortunately, this is impossible due to the incident at Walter Park, where Iruma-kun and the other members of the Misfits class defeated a powerful being. This has caused the other students to idolize them. They all admire Iruma-kun more since he had contributed greatly to the beast's defeat. On their entry into school, the students follow them, calling out their names. They, however, find out their way away from the students and join the other members of the Misfit class in the Royal One, the king's classroom set aside for special students. Unfortunately, the teacher in charge of the class is Emperor Doom and Gloom. He informs them about the activities that the new term will bring, which could enable them to rise in the ranks. However, that wouldn't be the case for them, as he tells them they are not normal students in any way. This gets them to wonder just what exactly he means. Then he brings out a rolled paper which loudly announces to them that they will have to reach Dale rank before becoming second year. They find this to be extremely shocking since Dale rank is the rank just before graduation. Achieving this in the first year would be almost impossible. However, they are further told that not achieving this will mean they will have to leave the Royal One. Hearing this, they are shocked and find this to be utterly impossible. To calm them down, Emperor Doom and Gloom informs them that they will not be made to achieve impossible tasks to achieve the Daled rank. Instead, he signals the arrival of some special tutors, whom he says will be their mentors, in their bid to achieve the Dale rank. He assigns each tutor to 2 students, leaving just Iruma-kun and another student with Emperor Doom and Gloom. They are shocked at the thought of this. However, he tells them that he wouldn't be doubling as a tutor since his job entails just assigning the tutors to them. Then he reveals their tutor to be a newbie who seems playful. At the end of the normal classes, the tutors charge into the king's classroom, with each taking the 2 students they had been assigned to teach. Before leaving, Iruma-kun, Asmodeus, and Clara exchange goodbyes, with each promising to not forget the other and become better by their next meeting. Which weirdly is the next day, seeing as they acted like they would be gone for a very long time. The students begin their lessons with their specific tutors, with each of them promising to make the students the most of the abilities they uniquely possess. Meanwhile, this doesn't seem to be the case for Iruma-kun, whose tutor doesn't seem to understand what he needs to do. On their way to the training location, Iruma-kun sends a text to Amara-san, apologizing for not being able to attend their reading sessions for the time being. She, however, understands him and hopes that she gets to see him soon. On the other hand, Iruma-kun's tutor admits to not knowing what to do. Instead, he seeks the help of a relative of his named Bachiko to teach them about what having a fighting spirit entails. When they meet her, she is angry that they had kept her waiting, and decides to do the same as punishment for her 2 new trainees. Then she reveals to them that she has only agreed to be here based on Iruma-kun's grandfather, Sullivan's request. At that moment, they realize just how good she must be and beg her to teach them instead of leaving them to their clueless master. She, however, listens to their plea, but on the condition that they treat her like a mentor if they want her to be theirs. To do this, she gives them stressful and frustrating tasks. With no other choice, they go ahead with whatever she asks them to do, and eventually she decides to train them. Do you think the students of the Misfit class will ever be able to attain the Dele rank? We'll bring you that. For now, kindly like this video and subscribe to our channel to get more anime recaps just like this one. Until next time, do take care and stay safe.